Yeah, hello. Good evening. Good evening. My name is Ebenezer Mankwamwako. You can also call me Libeson Beats. Yeah, I'm a music producer, songwriter, a composer. I do a whole lot in music, and I've had this opportunity to talk to you today on one or two things that people really don't have idea about when it comes to music. And I'm using this very platform to share with you what you need to know about a keyboard, what you need to know about a keyboard. We are going to know whether the keyboard is a musical instrument or not. So we have few things we need to know. The very first thing we will get to know when the meeting or when this very lecture comes to an end is one, to explain what a keyboard is. We'll be able to explain what a keyboard is. The second one is to mention or name or know the characteristics or features of a keyboard. How does a keyboard look? By the end of this lecture, we are going to know how a keyboard looks. And the very third one is to name some musical instruments that have keyboards. We'll be able to name few musical instruments that have keyboard. So it means by the end of the meeting, we will get to know whether the keyboard is a musical instrument or not a musical instrument. So back to the question of the day, as I asked earlier, is the keyboard a musical instrument? That is what most people do ask. And this is the very first word we'll be hearing. As we are talking about keyboard, this is the very first word we'll be hearing. Depressible, depressible, depressible. If we say something is depressible, it means that very thing can be pushed down. In other words, we say press the button on the remote. Press the button on the remote. It means the button on the remote can be pushed down or can be depressed. That is what we mean by depress or depressible. We'll be hearing the word depress in today's lecture. Now, the second word we'll be hearing is adjacent. Adjacent we do here. Oh, the house is adjacent this. The house is adjacent this. It means the house is next to. So the word adjacent simply means next to. Now let's move on. Back to the keyboard itself. The keyboard consists depressible, adjacent, white and black levers or keys that can sound the Western scale in music. So the word depressible and adjacent have been heard once again, as I said earlier. Depressible, meaning to push something down or something that can be pushed down. And adjacent simply means next to. Good. So back to the definition of a keyboard. A keyboard consists white and black keys that are depressible. So depressible means the white and black keys can be pushed down. They can be pushed down. And these white and black keys or levers are adjacent to each other. It means they are next to each other. The black keys and the white keys are adjacent to each other, and they can sound the Western scales in music. So we have so many scales in music. We have so many Western scales in music. You can talk of the major scale. The major scale simply goes this way. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. That is the major scale. It is a part of the Western scale. Another one goes. That That is also another minor scale. It is also a part of the Western scale. And we have another one. Do, re, mi, so, la, la, so, mi, re, do. This is also the pentatonic scale. It has only 5 notes, the pentatonic scale. It's also a part of the Western scale. And we have the minor pentatonic. It starts on the 6th degree. La, do, re, mi, so, la, so, mi, re, do, la. That is also the minor pentatonic scale. So it means the keyboard has black and white keys that can be pushed down by the fingers. The keys or the levers can be pushed down by the fingers. And the keys or the levers, the black and white keys that we are talking about, they are next to each other. Good, let's move on. This is how a keyboard looks. This is what I'm talking about. The keyboard has black and white keys, of which these very keys are depressible. You can push them down and you can see that they are adjacent to each other. They are next to each other. That is what we mean by a keyboard. Good. So as I said earlier, people will be asking, is the keyboard a musical instrument? Is the keyboard this? Is the keyboard that? By the end of this very lecture, we are going to know whether the keyboard is a musical instrument or not. Yeah, I talked about the characteristics or features of a keyboard. The first feature is what you have on your screen. The keyboard has black and white keys or levers. That is what you see right here. Black and white keys. You can see them. Good. The second feature we'll be talking about is the keyboard has, or the black keys are grouped in 2s and 3s. The black keys on the keyboard, they are grouped in 2s, 3s, 2s, 3s, 2s, and 3s. That is what we are talking about. That is what we mean by a feature on the keyboard being this. The black keys are grouped in 2s and 3s. And the very last one, as I said earlier, the keys on this very board can sound the Western scales. I played the minor pentatonic, I played the major pentatonic, I played the major scale, I played the minor scale. You can talk of the blues scale. You can talk of so many scales. We have more than 30 scales in the world. We have more than 30 scales. And this very keyboard can play each of these scales. Now let's move on. Musical instruments that have keyboards. So it means the keyboard itself is not a musical instrument. If we get here and we say musical instruments that have keyboards, it means the keyboard itself is not a musical instrument. And this is the first musical instrument that has a keyboard, the melodica. How does the melodica look? The melodica has a pipe and the keyboard feature. Without depressing the keyboard and blowing air through the pipe, you can never sound a key on the melodica. Without depressing the key on the board and blowing air through the melodica, you cannot sound a single key on the melodica. Now let's watch this video. That is how a melodica looks. Without blowing air through the pipe and depressing the key on the board, you can never sound a particular key or a particular note on the melodica. And the second one is an accordion. An accordion is a very weird instrument, but it's very, very interesting as well. Somebody would even call it looks like a school bag, but I wouldn't say it looks like a school bag. The accordion is very, very interesting and it looks weird. It looks weird. I wouldn't lie to you. The accordion looks weird. And this is how the accordion sounds. You can now compare the sounds of the accordion and the melodica after watching this video as well. That is a very nice piece. So that is why we are saying a keyboard is never an instrument, but rather a part of some musical instruments. Now let's move on. Good. The next one to talk about is a carillon. A carillon looks this way. A carillon looks weird. Who has ever seen a carillon before? Me myself, I've never seen a carillon before because it's hardly seen in Ghana. But when you go outside Ghana, some countries, you see the carillon. Now, this is how the carillon also sounds. Now let's move on. The very next instrument we'll talk about is the piano. This is how the piano looks. Now let's go and listen to the sound of the piano as well. How does the piano sound? talking about, the sound of the piano. Now let's move on to the very next instrument we need to talk about. That is the organ. The organ. The organ looks scary. Yes, the organ looks scary. The organ has pedals, same as the carillon. The carillon also has pedals. So the organ looks very scary. That is the organ. You can see the black and white keys, and the keys are grouped in twos. The black keys are grouped in twos, threes, twos, threes, twos, threes. That is what we are talking about. That a keyboard is not a musical instrument, but rather a part of a musical instrument. And we've talked about 4 musical instruments that have keyboard features. That is why the keyboard is not an instrument, but rather a part of an instrument. And this is the instrument we are talking about. This is the instrument we are talking about. The keyboard is not an instrument, but rather a part of an instrument. And this instrument is called organ. Now let's listen to the sound of the organ. Good. So that is the sound of the organ. And the organ is also a musical instrument that has a keyboard feature. That is what we are talking about. The very last one to talk about is the synthesizer. The synthesizer is very interesting because every sound from an instrument can be played by the synthesizer. I have with me a synthesizer right here. I can choose to give you the sound of a guitar. That is the sound of the synthesizer. I selected the guitar, so I want to select brass. That is the sound of a brass, and let me select the sound of a trumpet. The synthesizer can give you the sound of the organ as well. That is the sound of the organ on the synthesizer. And we have another one. Let me try an accordion as well. You can get the sound of an accordion right here on the synthesizer. Yes. You can hear it. As the sound of the accordion. So you almost get every sound on the synthesizer if you want to play drums. So that is, you can get the drums on the synthesizer. You get it. That is what we mean by the synthesizer. It can play almost every sound of an instrument we have in the world. That is what a synthesizer can do. And that is why most people prefer using the synthesizers to using other instruments that have keyboard features. When you go to schools, when you go to churches, you can see most people using the synthesizers. Yes, because if you need a sound of the organ, you can get it on it. You can get it on it. If you need a sound of the guitar, you can get it on it. I need a sound of the saxophone. That is the sound of the saxophone on the synthesizer. And the sound of the flute and oboe. That is the sound of oboes and flutes. So you can the synthesizer is very, 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 very interesting. That is what I said earlier. So getting to know this, it means the keyboard is never a musical instrument, but rather a part of some musical instrument. Make mention of the synthesizer, which I have with me right here, and you have it on your screen. The organ. The organ has a keyboard feature. The piano. The piano also has a keyboard feature. The carillon as well has a keyboard feature. You can see the keys on top, or the buttons on top, or the buttons on top are grouped in twos and threes. That is what we mean by a keyboard's black key being grouped in twos and threes. Good. And the accordion also looks this way, and you can see the keyboard feature over there. The keys are adjacent to each other as we discussed. The black keys are grouped in twos and threes. You can see that. And this very accordion can sound the Western scale, as we said earlier, and the melodica. That is what we have right there. The melodica also has the keyboard feature. You blow air through the pipe, it goes straight into the instrument. There are outlets over there. So when you blow the air into the pipe and you depress a key on the board, the sound of the melodica comes. So from today, let no one deceive you that the keyboard is a musical instrument. Never. The keyboard is not a musical instrument, but rather a part of a musical instrument. That is why I brought to you today's lesson. Kindly subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you for being with us, and we say bye bye for now.